with MakingStarWars.net.
Hey, YouTube.com. Do I sound okay? I hope so, because if it's crazy, there's nothing I can do about it because it's completely the internet, not my internet, though. Yeah, so if I sound okay, let me know and I'll continue. Neil, do I sound better than earlier? Are we having the same problem? I think it was StreamYard was having some issues, I think. But anyways, because we all sounded good on our end yesterday or earlier today. But anyways, I got a pretty big story. Part of it's not obvious. Part of it is not obvious, but also, boy, I'm not happy to be reporting this one. Not because I have a preference one way or the other about the story, just because I know that the internet sucks. The internet gives me a lot of anxiety about things that have nothing to do with anything that I'm reporting, but they take it in crazy ways. But I gotta set the record straight. So here is the story. Exclusive. Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 is moving forward, and the fate of Reva revised. Today I learned some big news about Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi and the future of the series from sources inside Disney. Apparently, the preliminary numbers of the show were so promising, continuing Kenobi's story during the dark times of the Empire was looking extremely attractive. Ewan McGregor seemed to tease another season at Celebration. Then the show proved itself to be a powerhouse for Disney Plus by breaking records for the streaming platform. While the second season might seem to be a given for the limited series, there will be more stories for Kenobi in the future. I heard from people inside Disney that Kenobi 2 is in fact going to happen. I do not know if it will be sold as the second season or something else, but changes have been made to Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi to explore some of the remaining story potential. And thankfully, they told me the big one. Spoilers, the fate of Reva. Up front, I need to stress that the ending of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi is about Obi-Wan Kenobi, his experience, and his change in morale after his adventure. That was the case. That was always the case and will always be the case, regardless of how anyone wants to twist my reports to suit their audience's twisted needs. I could not be clearer about that, I hope. I have been informed that Moses Ingram, Reva Savander, will return for the next story, and her death sequence at the hands of Darth Vader has now been cut or amended. I cannot confirm if they reshot anything. However, Reva will survive the 6-episode arc of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Originally, Reva proved to herself she was not as evil as she wanted to be. She kept Kenobi's secrets, lied to Darth Vader, and faced the consequences of those actions. I don't know if Reva returns to the Empire now, or even exactly what has changed, like beyond that part for her. Right now, it seems like her fate is left open for Season 2's story. I can confirm the Grand Inquisitor is not dead and will return in the first season of Obi-Wan Kenobi. However, the changes are, I expect Reva will be in a lot of trouble. I do not expect a revision of the ending itself, just the Reva ending, just Reva's storyline. The difficult part of reporting on productions actively being produced is things can and do change. What was reported before was accurate when I had the information initially and brought it to my readers. The story was revised and now it's being expanded. According to my sources, and some details have changed. My sources expect Reva and Roken to return and follow up stories. However, I doubt they have anything written yet. So leave this piece with this information. The story will continue. Reva lives for now. The Grand Inquisitor is not dead. Roken is likely to be involved in the next story. And more details when I can share them. So, yeah. So there we go. So, anyways, yeah. So let me know what you guys think about this. I mean, we're gonna get more story. It's being expanded. They're gonna apparently take it more places. And so the Reva thing, she's okay. She's okay. She's gonna make it. So I don't know how it changed though. So I'm trying to be super like upfront with that. For all I know, she goes to the Lars homestead, sees the kid, doesn't do it, and for all I know, she just flies away and we never see her again until they pick it up. So that might be her ending for this 6-part miniseries. She may just leave, and we could speculate about what it means. You know, is she going to end up? This is speculation, of course. Is she going to end up going and helping Rokin and the Jabim kids, all that kind of stuff? Like, is she gonna have a complete change of heart? It sounds like to me I'm kind of getting early versions of Asajj Ventress kind of vibes from it, but I don't know what they changed it to. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think there's anything. I don't know if they have a season 2. I don't know what they have planned or any of that. I just had really good source who was like, "Hey, you were right. Don't worry, you were right, but things have changed," and gave me that tidbit along with the season stuff. So season 2 stuff. So yeah, what can I say? All hail Lambhead. So Ari has been like excited since earlier. Hey Neil, how's it going, dude? And you could everyone please like the video if you're hanging out and you can, like, that would be cool. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and be a channel member if you can afford it. If you can't, no worries. But if you support the channel, it's good because then I can keep doing this, and I like doing this, and I miss you guys when you guys aren't around and stuff, you know. And make sure what's this? Yeah, but so anyways, I sound angelic. Thank you. You've always said that about me. You've always said that. You've always said I had a chocolate angel voice. I believe what you called me. And Arya has always called me perfect. And you know, stop it, Arya. Dale says hello, I am Dale. But yeah. So anyways, what are you guys thinking about what I just told you? I can't tell if it's like okay or like, you know, like are people gonna freak out at me? You know what I mean? Am I gonna have to endure a bunch of bullshit again about it or something? You know, probably, but don't worry about it, Jason. Nobody can deny the accuracy of the scoops. Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing, you know. It was funny. I think just recently I was talking about it before I knew this. I was like talking about Kylo Ren with the Force Awakens. In Force Awakens, Kylo goes into the Millennium Falcon and like reminisces in one scene about his past and his family and stuff, and then leaves or whatever, starts crying and leaves. And then they put one version of it on as a cutscene on the DVD, and it took like 2 years to get proven right on that. But once again, the people that are calling me out, I guess I can't win them with them anyway, so I really shouldn't care. Like, you know, it's like, what can you do with those guys? But it still is annoying, you know, to me. Marvel Mania, how's it going, dude? Jason Wars seems appropriate. Decided to drop a megaton nuke on a random Thursday evening. Huge news, and congrats on breaking it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually, I was trying to figure out. I was like, hey, are we gonna hear, like, you know, is the end of episode 6 gonna be like Obi-Wan story will continue? Like, are they gonna pull one of those? My person didn't know, or they wouldn't tell me, whichever. So, but I'm kind of curious if we're gonna get more of that, you know. And like I said, I feel less like about yay I did it about that one because it's very obvious. Like I feel like you know, a liar could have fan mathed it, if that makes sense. But Emilio says Obi-Wan is the new Luke from The Last Jedi. Originally, fans know Disney and Kennedy have destroyed Star Wars. Oh, Emilio, you're boring. Johannes says, I don't know how I feel about Reva living. Yeah, here's something to like consider. Maybe they have a better idea, or maybe her going through the consequences of those actions will be more entertaining and fascinating instead of just like introducing a character. Like for instance, like I don't actually truly sincerely, I'm not lying here. I don't know the fate of what's her name, Tala, Indira Varma's character. I don't know the fate of her. Okay, I just like knew like the gist of her, like the story and kind of like where it goes a little bit, but I don't like know if she like lives or dies. And like, let's just pretend she dies. Kind of sucks if she dies because she's a really good character. She was really fascinating, well acted by a good performer. I wouldn't mind seeing her live through several hours of TV before she dies, if she must. So, like for instance, though, I'm just using that as my example. Probably going to die. Just chances are, most of the people in the show are going to die, and so she's probably going to die, and then we won't see her anymore, and we'll be like, well, there was so much more they could have done, right? And it would be a shame if, after all is said and done with Reva, we end up like Reva, we end up like, oh man, they could have done this. Like it would have been so much better if they had done that and continued, you know, that story. And another thing I think that I'm just throwing out there, if you know they do make the season 2, if it does actually happen, if their plans come to fruition, I think based off of the numbers that they were talking about, I think it will. But based off of with that right there, what you do have now is you do have someone else to come for Kenobi when they need help. Like if once again, I don't know if like, so it's really important that everybody be on the same page. Far as I know, she gets in her ship and flies away, leaves Tatooine. And then we get on to the ending with our hero, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was not baited and switched. And once that happens, like she's, for as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, out of the series at that point. It's not, you know, her arc is done for now. But if you think about like what are the possibilities of what's going to happen to her, like if she's an Inquisitor, she'd probably be a pretty good Jedi if it did go that way, because she was an Inquisitor. She knows their theories and methods. She knows what they do to draw you out, and she would probably be better at spotting that trap. So she probably could be a pretty good survivor if she was running from the Empire, to an extent anyways. But at the same time, what if she just does go back and just makes, you know, says she never found him and then doesn't get killed and is a part of the Empire? I mean, that sounds the least interesting way for me, but also, I mean, what if they do that? And then whatever she does, she may need Kenobi for help, whatever path Reva takes in the end. And with that in mind, like that makes something where she could go back to Kenobi, and I could draw Kenobi into another adventure or something like that. But don't take what I'm saying as being the pitch that they have or that they're going with. For all I know, they just have got numbers and it's everyone saying yes, but no one has said how, why, or who and what, you know. So just throwing that out there. But also when I heard this stuff, with all of the stuff that we were hearing about from Celebration too, where it did seem like they were trying to telegraph like, see you next year, and you know, Kathleen Kennedy's like totally open to talking about it and stuff. Hey, Arya bought me a Dr. Pepper. Thank you, Arya. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like on one hand, it's kind of funny because I feel like the people that were trying to play the bait and switch game, like Reva's not going to be in the end as much now. Like she doesn't have a big scene like in that you know, the big death moment or whatever. And so like I don't know what the breakdown would be. I don't know how time works from what I was hearing and what's going to be on screen and how they edited it and stuff. But I feel like the last 15 minutes or so, it's just like Kenobi, just him. And it's very much his ending, for the record. So, but it's kind of funny though. It makes it's going to make those people who played the bait and switch game probably mad, I think, because it means more Reva. But then at the same time, it actually like disproves their point that it was a bait and switch and it was like all about her. But I don't know if they'll find some way to twist it, you know. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see, dude. Like Johannes, like we really don't know like if it's going to be worth it or not. Like Fennec is a character who had a sort of a similar journey in production. Maybe not as extreme, but she died, and then they decided to revive her to not have her be dead. And and also once like I said, Grand Inquisitor's not dead. If you've been having, like, I'm not even kidding. While I was writing this, I had like 3 DMs from people going like, are they retconning in some version of that? Are they retconning Rebels or erasing Rebels? And I was like, no, they're not. I promise they're not. And at the same time, we should always remember that like Dave Filoni is a creative, at executive at Lucasfilm, and he wrote those stories. So I don't see why he would do that anyways. But I am happy to be able to confirm to people that's the same guy. There's no Inquisitor bait and switch either. I don't know the precise details. I know a little bit, but I don't want to say too much because I don't want to mislead anybody. And like, so far, like there's been things that I have either like lion's share of like beats I got dead on so far. But then like there's like these like little moments where like the exposition connective tissue where I fuck it up. And so I figure at this point I'm better served just not getting into it just in case, And I'm also curious if anything ends up being like trimmed out or has been trimmed out of the episodes for obvious reasons. Like if they're going to continue on, maybe they don't want to write themselves in corners and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, maybe Reva goes and becomes Leia's protector on Alderaan. Old Boy Film says, wait, so does Luke's ending with her change then? I don't think so. To be upfront with you, I don't think so. I think that's still her ending. But I don't think will get killed by Darth Vader. To the best of my knowledge, that's what's happened. When I spoke to the source today, that's what they said to me. Excuse me. Devin Patel. How does Reva lie to Vader and still live? It's going to be weird. That's what I'm saying is we don't even see it. So like we got to just be kind of creative with it. Like what if she's flying home when the show ends? What if season 2 opens with her getting back, telling Vader that and him not believing it, and then her fighting her way out, getting stabbed and barely making it out, and then recovers? And I don't know what the ending, what her story is. I don't think it's been written now, or if it has, it's like there's just no way to know it. It's like on a writer's MacBook or something, and I guess. But it's like there's just so many potential possibilities of how this can go. But what I am saying is, if you want to know, so that's an interesting now tidbit about how her story evolved. That's what it's become. And if we want to look at what it is now, just remember, I think, I'm pretty damn sure, but I think she goes, can't do the evil deed against the kid, and then leaves, and that's our goodbye. I believe that's what's happening. So yeah. Whoa, news drop, Batman. Yeah, I know. I got another story today about something I haven't been able to figure out about the Darth Vader crew being put back together too. If you guys didn't see that, the team of performers who do Darth Vader in Star Wars Kenobi, they have another show. They're being put together for something else. I'm assuming, keyword here, assuming, Occam's razor, they're bringing Darth Vader into something. It must be Ahsoka. And my thought on that one is Ahsoka, the story may have to retell some of Rebels to some extent, and maybe they're going to do some Darth Vader stuff there to show her Ahsoka dueling Darth Vader. And also it would be maybe like how we meet Ezra, or an introduction to Ezra Bridger, that kind of thing. But I don't know if I don't have that confirmed yet, for what it's worth. So, and Arya asked, are they bringing that team to season 2 for Kenobi? I honestly, I don't expect season 2 of Kenobi to be filming now or anytime soon. If that happened, I would be like, what the fuck? That would blow my mind. So, I don't think so though. I don't think that's what's happening. as far as, so I'm not sure how early we could expect season 2 to hit. I mean, I think they probably have to figure out who's writing it, or the writer's room, or whatever they would do. I mean, when I was looking at the credits for these last couple episodes, there's quite a few people who worked on it. So maybe they have a writer's room now for it. Maybe they're going to take all those people and make one. I'm just throwing it out there, an idea. But yeah, Quinlan Voss season 2. I think so. To the best of my knowledge, Quinlan Voss is not in season 1. That was the only name drop. There were rumors about Quinlan Voss in it, and when I would ask my sources about it, they would say like, I think he's brought up. That's all they would ever say. But they weren't even sure. They couldn't remember. Like, they just weren't really too sure. And then the episode came out, and I was like, okay, is he in it or what? And they're like, no, I don't think so. So I'm not expecting to see Quinlan, but the fact that he's out there doing that, and I gotta say, Quinlan Voss, both versions of his character, so to speak, he, they kind of have him be this like hippie, the dude kind of guy, and then the other half of him is like super spy. Like, he's able to be a very relaxed, chill, like, dude, and then he's also able to go like in and perform and be a spy. And it's a kind of a crazy combination of personality traits they've given him. But depending on which way they go, I could see both versions, or one guy with both sets of personality traits, being interesting with Reva in a way. She's so fucking serious. And, I think it'll take a long time. Like, I mean, there is the potential for an interesting character there. She's so hard and like angry and like stern and driven and stuff. And like, if you start to have that sort of, become a little bit more of a, of a happy person in some way, or at least, a person with purpose and who's not driven by selfishness, like how the Inquisitors seem to be, it could be interesting. There's also a couple of things like about like Reva and Obi-Wan Kenobi that we're going to see in the series, that like where they kind of like connect a little bit more. And I don't want to overspeak on this, but I do think that like Kenobi sort of serves as like kind of an inspiration, it sounds like, or you know what I mean, as like that guy's not so bad kind of thing. But I'm not sure exactly how it plays out. It's like the language I've heard this stuff through is really hard to convey. But I can dig it, says DJ. Rick says it's only rock and roll, but I like it. It's only rock and roll, but I like it. Yeah, so I had to amend like my episode start and stop stuff around for because of like episode 3 and like some things I had that I thought were swapped. And so I'm starting to think Rokin, we're getting a little bit of Rokin next episode. Next episode, the primary setting is Nur, but they go a couple of other places. There's like some like other places too, but I think that there's going to be like a little bit of Rokin in that one, most likely. And I was a stupid dickhead last night. Somebody was asking O'Shea Jackson Jr. on Twitter if he was Voss, and he said nope. So I asked him if he was Rokin. Maybe maybe you like it. Maybe you but he didn't acknowledge it. I was like, I'm a dickhead. I shouldn't have done that. Darth Maximus says I'm cool with that. See, whenever I'm going to let you guys know, if you guys put like a glass with something in it and you say anything, it just sounds celebratory. Like, I'm cool with that. Darth Maximus could tell me anything. I'd be like, you're going to die. I'm like, I'm cool with that. Johannes says this show really needs some reshoots. Yeah, I don't, and to be clear, I don't know if they did reshoots, or I should say they did reshoots, I believe in around August, I want to say it was. I could have my timeline wrong. I'd have to like go back to old shows to remember, but I'm pretty sure it was about August. And and it's like one of those questions, like, okay, like here's like a couple of things, right, about the Kenobi series that like they don't break the show for me at all. But it's like when they're at the fucking laser gate in the last episode. Like he like shoots it and does all the stuff, and then they just walk through. Like he could have just walked around the side. I mean, in my head, I've decided he's afraid of landmines. Might be landmines out there. There's landmines and laser gates. That's what I've told myself, just to look the other way about it, you know. But we got Nari pulling the thing down, her going, I can't run now. That thing's in front of me. We got the laser gate, and then we have the Darth Vader fire thing. He's like, I can't cross that fire. But you know, I was able to make the Darth Vader one work for me. I mean, dramatic conceit, right? That's fair. I think it's fair. You know, it's not over. It's not really over. And I think they both know it. So that also works for me. But that kind of stuff and the tunnel, like these are all things that I think could have been fixed with a little bit of revision. But BMX says maybe she doesn't return to Vader, she's going to live. That's what I think is a somewhat likely scenario. Probably. I'm always wrong on Santa's predictions for what's going to happen next episode. So, you know, what do I know? But I will say, I mean, yeah, it might go that way. I mean, she may be more interesting to have a character who, you know, she could die from Vader, and then that's just that. It might be more interesting to have this ex-Inquisitor who's out, you know, in the galaxy being, I don't know, she's almost the anti-Ahsoka in a way, right? Like we kind of look at what Ahsoka is. In a weird way, she's kind of like the opposite, and which was Ventress, but we don't really have a Ventress for this era that I know. I think she's dead by then. So yeah, she dies in the Boss book, right? With her and Boss. So yeah, so it's, you know, but also once again, wouldn't it be interesting if she becomes like that, and then she meets Voss, because he'd be like, you remind me of someone. They'd have that whole Padme scene between them. Mark says, bruh, this series is getting review bombed by fans. Critics are happy, so I'm justified in my happiness. Yeah, I don't know what the reviews look like, but everybody I know likes it. Everybody I know like thinks it's rad. I have friends texting me about it who weren't texting me about Book of Boba or anything like that. And so I think it's and its numbers are doing really well too. But you know, I don't want to go back into the old bullshit that we've lived over the last couple of weeks, but it's pretty obvious why. Blake says, I don't know how to feel. Just use your heart, Blake. Just use your heart. Marvel Mania says, and thank you for being a channel member, Marvel Mania. I appreciate it, dude. This is really interesting. I wonder if they changed the whole scene at the Lars homestead at this point. I don't have any reason to think that they have. So, you know, if it is changed, then we know why. But I don't believe, you know, and I asked, I was like, so, you know, and I was told like, yeah, like I think that's all that's really different in a big way is that. So what can you do? You know what I mean? It is what it is. I got a super chat from my friend Neil. Thank you, Neil. The incel crowd is going to have a stroke when she survives. I can't wait. We appreciate your work, Jason. My ride's here. I have to get at it now. Anyways, I assume you guys could hear that. It was super loud. He's like, yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm like driving past Star Wars podcast, making noise. People know I exist. But yeah, anyways, yeah, they are probably going to have a stroke. And so I'm just going to ignore them, you know? I'm just going to block it all out and leave it alone. And you know, because I mean, like it's like, see, like that's what sucks. Like for me, and sorry, I don't mean to be like a whiner, but it's like, you know, like I had this story, and all day I've just been like, you know, I'll put out the Darth Vader thing instead. Like I just haven't wanted to like deal with dummies, but I wish dummies were dealt with on their own. But yeah, Team DJI says I can dig it. So yeah, I already said that one. I think I already said that one. But so we okay, here we are, and thank you for the super chat, by the way. I appreciate it a ton, Neil. Mark says, "Oh no, Josh from Dead and Nerds is finna freak out." I hope he doesn't. I hope he likes it. I hope it's like I hope he wanted season 2, and he understands that maybe that's the way in. You know. Violet says, "No more Reva, terrible character." Oh, sorry. It says, "Yeah, racist Josh is going to go ham. He will start another uproar with the bigots." I don't know. I hope he doesn't. I hope he. I hope. I need an EOP called an EHOPE. That's so stupid. I don't know why I said that, but let me see. Make sure this is an important message. Yeah. So Dena nerd. Okay, I guess Dena Nerds has tweeted out that he's happy. So if you guys are the ones bringing him up, not me, but somebody just tweeted me and texted me and said he's happy. So good. I'm glad. If everyone's happy, I'm happy. Season 2 Kenobi fights the Emperor. No, Rick, we can't do that. Come on. All hell Lambhead. See that glass. All hell Lambhead. Was looking forward to ending the Reva character, but why? Jelani says, exactly, Mark. I think they're going to develop her character further. Yeah, that's, and you know, sometimes they save a character and they don't do anything. Like I mean, my critique of Fennec is that they like revived Fennec and then she was like, I'm going to hang around. She eats some chicken, and I don't really understand necessarily what the point of her was. I like the actor. I like the design. I think that there's like potential there, but I'm still hoping that potential is realized. Because there's a lot they could do with Fennec. Blake says, I wonder if Vader will be in season 2 at all. Yeah, what do you guys think? Should they do Vader in season 2? Would that make sense? I mean, you know, at what point do they stop biting or confronting each other, you know? And but I'm curious if they do season 2, like, is it going to be mostly a spiritual journey, or, you know, Qui-Gon's with him now? He has Qui-Gon. Is Qui-Gon going to send him to the shaman of the wills? You know what I mean? To like learn the life retention stuff better? I don't know. Team DJI, thank you for becoming a channel member, team. Would love seeing more Reva and definitely another season. It sounds like that is where we're at, you know. And I have to say, it sounds like those preliminary numbers already had them like, yeah, we're gonna do it. And then when it came out, it proved the preliminary projections right for Disney. They're very happy. So that's what I've heard. Baymax, the grift on this is going to be a circus. I hope you and I are both pessimistic and wrong. Why is Vader possibly being in Ahsoka series video gone? So we started going live today, and our streaming service was having some kind of issue, and the audio was super choppy. So I didn't want people to go to watch the video and then see me talking like, you know, not being able to understand what I was saying any more than they already don't. But I was like, so I took the video down because it was crap. It looked bad or sounded bad. But if you want to know anything more about the Vader thing, we could definitely talk about it. If you want me to read the article, I could also read it again. Neil says, wonder if they had 2 Reva ending shot and we're waiting to see what the reception was. I'm always happy to hear we're getting more stories. Thanks for coming back today, Jason. Oh yeah, of course, Neil. Yeah, I mean, I tried to go down a couple of avenues of people who would have been in those shoots, I think, to see if I could get anything. If I could get any more details on that. And I couldn't. So the response I've continually pretty much gotten was, if they filmed it wasn't with us, kind of thing. But I don't know. I'm not sure if they just removed the scene, it's on the chopping floor and now it's gone, or if there was like an actual like restructuring in some way to make things make more sense. Like there's always been a bit of like ambiguity, like with remember when I was talking about the way, I didn't know it was called that, but the Underground Railroad, the Force users, the Force sensitives, like it did sound like maybe. I'm not saying they did this, okay? I'm not saying that they did this, but it sounded like they may have done this. And what they may have done is they may have just filmed a bunch of people fighting and a bunch of people running away. And at the end of the day, they may have decided how that looked in the edit. And so what I'm throwing out there is that there's a lot of stuff with that, but a lot of potential from those moments. So we'll see, right? But I mean, so far, like the big stuff I've said has happened. So I'm okay with where I'm at right now on this one. I think like I always say, broad strokes are definitely there. But we will have to see what happens at the end. I'm curious. Your scoops are always on point. Thank you. Yeah, like the point of my scoops is always on point. And then, like, I did that video, where I tried to put all 5 episodes or all 6 episodes out based on like what we thought we knew and stuff like that, and like how they should go and stuff, and like some of the orders wrong or whatever, and some of the things like I'm still like one of the things I think I might have got wrong, but I'm not sure, is I was under the impression that Reva took. Well, you know what? I might not have got that wrong because they're going to still capture Leia. I mean, they've already captured Leia, taken her to Nur, and she's going to get interrogated by Reva. So maybe that kind of like tracking, hacking kind of thing of Lola does still happen. But Mark says, best Star Wars channel. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, dude. Please like the video. That says, would love seeing Reva again, says Jelani. Yeah. I think that's the general opinion too, is that she's been an interesting character. I don't think she was, honestly, I would hate for the people that were criticizing her before they ever even saw her performance. I would hate if they ended up just being right because they were either racist or just assholes from the very start, and then just ended up being right. Like that sucks when that happens. It happens sometimes. And sometimes that does happen. But this time right here, I don't see it. I don't think there's anything wrong with her. I'll in my honest opinion, and I'm not just like not trying to like take a posture about the other guy or whatever. I think the fifth brother is a little bit cringy at times. Not a big fifth brother fan, and so my least favorite Reva moments are when she's talking to him, and it's mostly because of him. I just don't think that they go together very well. And we know the fifth brother doesn't die, so and thank you again for the Dr. Pepper, Aria. I appreciate it. Justin says it sounds like episode 6 will have a lot of edit changes. I don't know if it should sound like that necessarily. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But all I'm really telling you is I know one thing is gone now. Used to be this, now it's that. So I like I said, I was like, when I told a couple of close friends today about it, I was like, fuck. And then they were like, and then I left and started working again, and I come back and they're like, were you joking? Like, is that really happening? Like, yeah, it's really happening. But all right, here we go. Real Ben Maynard says, not sure how I feel on Reva's fate. Definitely makes me kind of weird. Makes me feel kind of weird considering what she knows, and she would like live on like, okay, so yeah, and like her knowing about the kids is like a Cassian level security threat, and it would take Kenobi would have to go full Cassian to be like, I've been doing this since I was 6 years old, and stab her in the head and say, you know what I mean, and like to protect that secret. It's not really Kenobi's style though. He doesn't really, we've seen him go a little John Wick, but he's not John Wick, he's not that violent of a guy. So where I'm going, with this is that like, what if the story arc is that she ends up helping those kids? What if she finds her calling, and it's helping the Force sensitive children not get murdered, Or what if she even goes a completely different way and it's not letting them into a space cult that takes you away from your family kind of thing? You know, what if it's something like that? I mean, there's a couple of ways I could see taking it, and I'm sure the writers will have a really good idea. Does this mean we get more Leia? I think it means we actually just get one less scene. That's my takeaway right now. That at this moment, that's the only thing I could say. It probably means we just get a little bit less minutes of footage from that sequence. Josiah says the first 2 episodes kind of disappointed me, but episode 3 brought me back. Just read your article. Can't wait to see what happens. Yeah. You know what's kind of funny is I actually find that the show grows on me the more I watch it, and that's not like a normal thing for me. Like I don't watch Book of Boba Fett and like it more. I watch Book of Boba Fett and what bothers me more, or what I want from it bothers me more. Like I don't think I'm gonna really truly 100%. I don't hate Book of Boba Fett, for the record, but I don't love it, and I don't think I think if they make more or continue the character stories other places, then I maybe like when I get what I wanted or what I needed or what they could have done when the potential's realized elsewhere, I may appreciate that just as like weird standalone Star Wars that just exists. But I'm just saying that to make it clear, like I don't brainwash myself into liking something. Just keep watching it and you'll like it. Now I'm liking it. You know, I don't do that. I was accused of that during the prequel era a lot, by the way. Abby says this show fucking sucks. Laugh aloud. I don't want a season 2 at all. Well, you know what's cool about when you don't want something, you could just fuck off and not watch it. Real Ben Maynard says maybe Grand Inquisitor takes her out in season 2. Well, that's the other interesting thing about her. I mean, she stabbed like one of the worst dudes you could stab in the Empire, and he lived. You know, that's not cool. It's not cool to be her on that front. So you know, I personally don't believe she could go back to work with the Grand Inquisitor being alive, unless there's some other weird twist to the Grand Inquisitor, you know. But I kind of expect she's gonna show up on, you know, oh god, I got my stomach hurts, you know, kind of thing. But Troy says the only thing that makes me worry is that they obviously wrote 6 episodes with the intention of Reva dying. Hope that changing her fate doesn't feel weird in the end. Yeah, I mean that's also like what's funny is like if we didn't know what the original like way was, then we would just think, oh, there were red herrings, or was this? So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, the production stuff, and you kind of like know what it is. It does take a little bit of time to be able to sometimes to enjoy something just based off of like what it is rather than how it was made or what the backstory is. But I truly the thinking of her going back and reporting and getting killed, I always felt like that was written to protect the secret of Luke and Leia. But you also have the story for what it's worth about a guy like you guys have to remember, like Leia and Obi-Wan are the most hopeful characters in Star Wars. They're the most positive, if not sometimes trusting characters in Star Wars. And in this story, in the 3rd episode, like he messes up the mission because he doesn't wait because he thinks Haja ripped him off really bad. He thinks Haja misled him, and he goes right to the pessimistic side, which is kind of the dark side, and in doing so jeopardized so much. People died, you know, and stuff because of that. And so in the end, he's going to get that back, and so he might be able to have faith that Reva's going to do the right thing, and he might be leaving it in her hands because she could have done the wrong thing though, and she didn't, which is I think a really important potential takeaway. Once again, like the execution is going to really matter on the weight of this stuff, because like when I know, like when I heard those beats or however I relayed them to you guys, like it puts a certain emphasis, and I always do my best to put the correct emphasis. But sometimes, I see scenes that I knew very well in the show, and I'm like, that's weird that they kind of did it that way at times. But it just kind of, it is what it is, and we have to really gonna have to see it. So I hope everybody can reserve judgment and now go in just knowing, okay, so that's changed, and let's see how it's executed, because that's everything. I love the Vader scenes from the last episode. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I had my critiques, but watched it last night with the family. Loved it. I had a good time. I really did. Tala was a great actor. Yeah, she is. And Duravarm is great. And I like how you can kind of see her being like the proto Princess Leia in so many words. They probably saw the leaks and the response to them and cut the scene out at the end, says Mark. I don't know, because they've never done that before. Like there's, I mean, for what it's worth, they've never cut out anything because it leaked that I know of, anyways. They may have revised things later on, potentially, that I don't know about though, but I've never heard about that. They could make her a lone wolf Ventress type. Yeah, that's where my head was too. Or like, what is Ventress like in the underground Star Wars Railroad, kind of thing, which could be interesting, But Mark says Pablo Hidalgo was with the writers the whole way for canon stuff. So we can all complain about the canon, but canon heads are gonna have a field day. Andrew says, I'm all for more Obi, but how can they top their next villain, top Vader, especially since we already know Obi's outcome in A New Hope? Yeah, I think that's why I think maybe you don't try. I mean, they could just put Darth Vader in it again, right? Could do that, but that doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound like a very good idea. But Arya says, wait, so she is going to have all of the information about Anakin, Luke, Leia, and just escape? God, I wonder how they can edit a different story with the footage they have. No, well, I mean, like that's you're like that's like a security officer's perspective of it. You know what I mean? She has all the information, and she doesn't kill them. When she doesn't do what she's supposed to do, she has essentially neutralized herself to an extent. But also, if she ends up going to the Underground Railroad, I'm just throwing this out there. She ends up going to the Way and becomes a part of that, of helping those kids, for instance. If that's where she ends up, then once again, she's literally doing the job that Kenobi's doing. Kenobi is just more like, instead of a babysitter to a bunch of Force kids, he's like a nanny, because these kids are extra special. It's kind of that's my takeaway anyhow. And Roken is O'Shea Jackson Jr. Yes, I believe that is his name, is Roken. So Ben says, I really enjoyed her character so far. It does have me a little nervous, but we will just have to see how it plays out. Yeah, I mean that's everything. I mean, like I mean, there's certain things like I heard and I see it on the screen. I'm like, oh, that could have been epic, and it wasn't. Or something I thought wasn't that big of a deal, and it's like, oh, that plays really well. Ewan really nailed that, or Moses really nailed that, or whatever happens to be. So you can never tell until you see how it played out. They kind of need to die for the secrets to be kept, whether it's this season or a later season, says Baymax. I mean, I think it feels like most characters do die in Star Wars pretty shortly after their creation. Some of them live on for a time, but I mean, like, if Reva seems to be like wanting to have a high position with the dark side and the evil guys, and then if she rejects that, and then in a certain way, like the secret, I mean, what's she gonna do? Sell it for money? You know what I mean? It doesn't really fit her, the tone of her character, to me. So I think there's probably though more pieces that will be either introduced or that are there that will give this a little bit, a little bit of a better spin. Violet, can you do the update about the Obi-Wan leaks? There are some differences in episode 3 compared to the leaks. And then by Mrs. Violet, Jason dropped a revision of episode 3-4 before it aired. Some stuff happens in different order. Yeah, like the stuff like Obi-Wan gets burned and they fight and that kind of stuff. Tala is not what she seems. She's actually a good guy. Stuff like that. Like the big beats I got, a couple of things like played out different than I thought they were going to. Like I'm kind of dumb, and for whatever reason, when Leia and Obi-Wan are on that guy's like truck going to the place, for some reason I thought it was like a high speed like train or something, and it wasn't. It was like an old truck. So what can you do with that? You have to kind of go, okay. It's like sometimes trying to subtly talk about this shit is wild, to be honest with you, because it's so out there. To me, I don't care what people say about this being a dumb people show. I'm gonna be a dumb fan and enjoy this and soak this in, that my childhood actors are coming back. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's some extent you could decide to have fun or you could decide to not have fun. And I'm in no way am I, if people aren't having fun, like truly, if like for instance, anybody who says Disney Star Wars, you're not having fun. So stop. Go do something fun for you. And everyone will be happier. But if you're like, some of these people are like, I'm having a bad time, so I want you to have bad time. I'm not happy, so I want you to be unhappy. It's like, fuck off. Real Bad Manor, so does she still see the best of my knowledge she does. Richie says, Jason, I honestly think it sounds great. They could do more with Obi-Wan and his training with Qui-Gon. Maybe it will be a movie. Kenobi is a big enough name to do this own movie and make big money. Hey, that's a good idea. This is amazing news, man. All right, so I'm glad that you guys are excited by it, because I had a lot of anxiety about, obviously I got both versions, so it's not like, it's like you were wrong. Well, no, I wasn't wrong. I was right, and then now I'm correcting the thing with the newest information where it's at, and but is what it is. Yeah, there it's you'll see the guys sword fighting. It's one of the newer videos I did. Like it's right before the review of episode 3. I did like an update on that one. Fandom Empire says, having the day from hell and getting this news was so incredibly uplifting. Thanks, man. Can't wait to hear more. I'd guess that Kenobi season 2 is 2025 at earliest, maybe Christmas 2024. Yeah, like I think what you're saying sounds right, but I don't want to say when I think it's going to be or when it's going to be, because I don't know. You know what I mean? And always, dude, thanks for being a channel member, stopping by, and being a friend, by the way. Shell says, what stage are they at with Kenobi season 2? To the best of my knowledge, I have no knowledge. I just learned today that season 2 was going to happen. So, and like any Star Wars project, until it's filming, it ain't happening. It's happening, but you see what I'm saying? I hate to give the contradiction there, but it's like with Star Wars, until it's filming, I don't know, man. Luke says, I'm bummed by this. The ending was so good. Well, I mean, the rest of the ending that I know of is all there. And like I said, like the one thing that like I was never able to successfully like finesse into the reports at a length that people would read, especially, is that like there's a lot of subtlety to the moments in the end, and that I think that people are going to appreciate. But it's not something I could bullet point. You know what I mean? It's not like then Qui-Gon's up, then there's that. It's like so like I just shared like the big beats, but there's a ton of subtlety there that I think could even make you hate it or love it, myself included. Like I really got to see it. Would be cool if my sources let me see it. Please, sources, can I see it? Baymax posted the link to the article. Thank you, Baymax. Appreciate that, dude. So does Reva have a what have I become moment when she's about to take out a terrified child Luke, giving her flashbacks to her own childhood sort of thing, then defects and goes her own way. That's what I think is going to happen now. That's what it sounds like when you cut the Darth Vader killing her stuff. Sounds like that's what it is. At least what it is. That's what it sounds like. What it is to a me, and maybe there's a big switcheroo here that I don't know about or something. But to the best of my knowledge, you and I are on the same page right now. Baymax says, I did like the ending as it was. Oh well, more Kenobi. I'll take it. Quinlan the Voss is inside Ned B. Didn't you hear? By the way, this is what happens. So we don't have nice things. I actually have I have another scoop that's pretty interesting. I'll get to maybe tomorrow. I think it's being debated, but I got the answer to this other debate. But this one, yeah, there's nobody inside. That's fucking nuts. It's as fucking nuts as it was the first time we heard it. And I could have asked another question, but I had a source there. I was like, hey, Ned, nobody's gonna come out of him, right? He's not a mech suit, right? They're like, what the fuck? No. They didn't really say it like that, but you know what I mean? That was sort of their reaction. So yeah, Justin says Kenobi season 2 makes a lot more sense. Ewan wants to do more with Obi-Wan. I want him to do more with Obi-Wan too. Thanura says it was a missed opportunity that Kamal Nanjiani wasn't Quinlan. He would have been a fantastic Quinlan Voss. That's for sure. But I will say, I'm loving the Haja. Loving him. I think he's great. Luke Jones says, I'm very confused. Wouldn't this need tons of reshoots? Isn't that the whole crux of the ending changing? No. Reva leave. Okay, if this is the edit, Reva gets in her ship from the Lars homestead and flies away. What happens to her then? That's what we got now. So if they never get to making it, or you don't like it, you could always just think about the scene I told you about. She flies there and dies. But as far as I know, Luke, I don't think they really have to change too much for it. I think they just cut that. They just remove it. Are they going to be a second season? Yes, that's what I'm hearing. That second season is totally on the table. Chilean anyways says, not sure how I feel about that. Feels weird for her to have all that information about the Skywalkers and just escape. I don't know. Let's maybe live with that for a second here. Is that a story opportunity that has benefits? If you have a character who has that information, some of the most important information in the galaxy, the stakes are kind of higher when she gets captured, when the Grand Inquisitor comes for her, if he wants to interrogate her, if he wants to, try to break her and stuff. Like, the stakes are kind of high. Like, it adds a little bit more tension there. But what I'm saying is, I'm just talking about potential opportunities. Maybe it won't be, maybe it won't be good. Maybe it'll be a bad idea. Maybe it'll just be like, well, she sometimes people know secrets and they don't Jason Ward them around the whole internet and tell everybody what happens, But Jimmy McKay says, will something happen to Leia to affect her memory of Obi-Wan? I don't think so. I don't. I heard a fan theory. I apologize because I don't remember who told me now. It was somebody on Twitter. It was a Twitter conversation I was having. And they're like, it would be kind of cool if Leia pulled the images of Padme out of his mind. And like, that's why she had these impressions of her mom. And I was like, oh shit, if they did that, that'd be fucking great. That'd be great if they went that way. That'd be so smart. But they also have that issue with Leia. Like, if Leia shows any force ability or gets too close to having anything, then why doesn't Kenobi just take her and train her? That's like a real problem with making them a duo. But we were talking about Paper Moon for a long time. You're seeing it. You're definitely seeing that Paper Moon vibes. Hello Me says, yeah, the review bombs are funny. Laugh out loud. Miss Sunflower says, it does not make sense for Reva to live if she knows all of these secrets about the Skywalker family. Well, I mean, maybe she's going to die still. Maybe she dies in season 2. I don't know. But I mean, but I have spoilers. It ends up okay. It's gonna end up all right. She's not gonna turn them into the space cops. We know that much. So thank you for the super chat, dude. The Nura says, wish they got Kamel as Quinlan, missed opportunity. And yeah, he would, like I was saying earlier, he would make a great Quinlan boss. Especially when he got all ripped and shit. Like there was some times when I was like, this is making a lot of sense that he's Quinlan boss. But at the same time, I like this new original character that they have, and hopefully whoever they get to play Quinlan boss is equally good. And that'll be interesting. And I'm I do appreciate when there is I do appreciate diversity, to be honest with you. And Star Wars hasn't really done a lot with Middle Eastern actors over the years, so it's kind of be kind of cool if they go that way. But when it comes to Quinlan Vos, when they retcon that one dude from Tunisia as him in the background, I think that kind of set the idea that he was probably going to be Middle Eastern, or like from Tunisia, for instance. But at the same time, like you could get somebody, from Mexico to be Quinlan Vos too, depending on how you want to do it. You could also do somebody who's like biracial. I don't know. Do we still use the word biracial? Kind of weird that we say race is a construct. We really shouldn't use it, but then we say biracial. But I don't know. Yeah. So Stella gave me a super chat. Hope I'm not missing any. It's not telling me on the top when I'm getting it all the time. Thank you, Stella. I appreciate it. Stella says, thank you for sharing all these new scoops. I'm very happy and excited for getting season 2 of Kenobi. I'm glad that all the grifting and review bombing from the fandom menace losers didn't hurt the show. Right? I mean, that is ultimately like the good news. I mean, the show's doing great. And I feel like they kind of took credit for Solo, but they were just the ones who could clearly see, based off of the metrics, that nobody was like really following Solo, that it wasn't going to pan out very well for that financially. And like they like took credit for that, but they tried to do it to Mandalorian too. Remember, like Woe Mandalorian and all that stuff. And then the show was badass, and they were just like kind of like about it for a while. But I do though like want everybody. My dream or my hope is just always that everybody's happy and having fun. And like, if you're not happy and having fun, then do something else, which, I should take my own advice someday. Stop reporting Star Wars spoilers. No, I'm kidding. I'm having fun. I do like Dev Patel. I really love Green Knight. I want the guy who did Green Knight and anybody in Green Knight, anybody that's seen Green Knight, to make Star Wars shows. I think I do think that like that dude who did Green Knight would have made an excellent Kenobi series, personally. That's my take anyway. But Miss Sunflower says, yeah, Dev Patel. Yeah, sorry, I showed that one. Momoa would make a great Quinlan. Yeah, he would. He would. That would be pretty badass. It's a bit of like a famous person, a bit of a kind of famous casting, which I'm not always necessarily about, but we are kind of in the Disney era of Star Wars, so we are going to have people that are a little bit more famous, but we'll see. Thank you, Matt, for the super chat, dude. I always appreciate it when you guys support the channel, support me. It means a lot to me. And Ari is Dr. Pepper too. Matt Risman says, the best thing about season 2 will be Kamel's opportunity to come back and finally play the droid. Oh man, you know what? One of these days, when hopefully his career is on a high point forever. But if he ever ends up being one of those guys where you give him like $20 and they'll like say whatever you want, we'll just maybe hire him and have him do all of Ned's lines. But yeah, all right. What else have we got? I'm trying to not skip over any of the interesting stuff that you guys are saying, because I always like to always like to hear what you guys have to say. And always, it's kind of funny because a part of me is like, oh, I was always grateful when you guys would bother to write me a message to talk about Star Wars with me. Like it's pretty rad. Um, but then I also remember people on the internet say some horrible things too. So Shell says, is it wrong that I feel Rise of Skywalker was the worst movie of the trilogy, but it had the best scene, Adam Driver and Harrison Ford, even with the bed hair, laugh out loud? No, dude, that's still your opinion, man. And that's like cool. That's like fine. Like I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm with you with the Rise of Skywalker. It's one of my least favorite Star Wars films, but it also has moments in it that I will literally watch the movie for because I like those moments. It's like I don't know. Is for me, Rise of Skywalker is like a friend who had a lot of potential, and then you like don't see them for a few years, and then you're like really excited to hang out, and you guys do, and then they're just kind of like, yeah, so like I'm smoking pot every day, but then they like play a sweet solo, and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool, man. Still some like kind of cool stuff there, but it also kind of makes me sad because there was so much potential. But yeah, I'm tired of naysayers and fandoms. I'll enjoy what I want to enjoy. Also, you mentioned Roken will be back. That's what my source thought. My source thought that like I was like asking I asked like who's coming back, and I was like almost trying to read into it. Like, does it mean like Talia dies or whatever? But I couldn't get that answer. They either didn't know or wouldn't tell me. Yes, wrong. The ghost Han was the worst scene ever. No, Chad, he likes it. So you can't be wrong with your own opinion. I mean, but sorry, I just joined. But season 2 confirmed. Confirmed officially? No. Confirmed by this guy's sources? Yes. Brennan says, my only problem is how do they execute Kenobi leaving Tatooine again? Right. Yeah, that's something that we have talked about a lot of times. Like I think that you just have to have a good mission, a good reason. He's going to have Qui-Gon too. They're doing some stuff with the Force ghosty stuff from what I've heard. Not sure what's true, what's accurate, but I do have to say, like the ability, Qui-Gon may be watching over Luke too. I mean, that's worth considering. Now that Obi-Wan at the end of the story will be able to sense him. He's not alone now necessarily. It's kind of the idea. And so Qui-Gon's out there in that desert with him. And that's a pretty good power, I would say. So there may be ways of making it work. I don't know. I mean, and once again, I'm not trying to present any idea and everybody get hung up on the idea and say like that's what they're doing, that's what it is, and I don't like it. I'm just talking off the top of my head. And once again, we've brainstormed this for fun the last couple of weeks, like here and there. But I mean, but that spiritual journey idea is something, like when Yoda has the Yoda arc and the Mortis arc, and you have like those kind of things where they go inward and then there's someplace else, sort of like astral projecting someplace to this other thing where the stuff happens. We might have something like that. I mean, Obi-Wan is going to have, still Obi-Wan can now see Qui-Gon Jinn. But based off of what we said, he doesn't know how to live after he dies. They could never do another story, and we could assume that's what it means. But we could also decide that's not what it means. We still don't know. He didn't even know how to see Qui-Gon until 3 weeks from now. Think about that. So there's a lot of story potential, and it has to be worth it. So if he has to go out there to get that ability to be able to like do that, well, we know that the Death Star gets blown up because Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Luke's ear telling him, let go, turn off the targeting computer, use the Force. And he does it. Luke Skywalker is going to die out in the snow on Hoth. And he's like, wake up. You got to go to Dagobah, and he's that power is completely worth it. So risk versus reward. And whatever the risk, if the risk should be that, I think it's worth it because the reward clearly paid off. Misery needs company. Yes. Yeah, that's That is true. Also, a Nirvana bootleg I once had. Jim Ryan says it's not fun. Why continue? Makes sense. But the problem is people crave conflict and drama. Yeah, yeah, to some extent, like it's true. I mean, there is like there's like almost a really sad, pathetic component to it of I am feeling anguish and I have to let you know, and I have to keep telling you until you feel my anguish. And like they just don't know how to connect with people over things that matter. Because realistically, like I love Star Wars, and I lose perspective sometimes, and I get too mad about something, and then I just like driving my car, and I'm just like, man, this is fucking movies and comics, and they're important to me, but you know, no reason to let a dummy get that mad. I it actually tends to be when Star Wars stuff steps on the toes of real life stuff. When you see like race baiting and stuff like that, that's when I get really bummed out. Mandalorian Legion says, "What if they have Obi-Wan and Ahsoka meet, and he tells Ahsoka not to tell anyone in the rebellion that he's alive?" Yeah, Bell knows, right? Bell knows, and he's the one who, in Rogue One, who sent out for him. But yeah, I mean, people know the secret. Like that's the other thing to remember is it's like, you know, Bell and his wife know the secret. I mean, it's their daughter, so I guess you know they're going to protect it with like their lives. But we'll see. We'll see what it means. I mean, you know, there's things that people. I heard Boba Fett knows that Anakin is Darth Vader from the comics. Okay. Skylar says, I just hope cinematography and editing improve in season 2. I agree. My hope, and I'm gonna guess Arya's hope, is that with knowing this money, this show has been so successful, and if it continues to be, that they like know it's worth dropping the big bucks on it for the next season. You know, more location shooting and stuff like that. I truly don't mind the Joshua Tree planet, you know, which is probably why it was codenamed Joshua Tree, by the way. I don't actually mind. I actually think that one grew on me a bit more. Whereas like the book of Mandalorian episode with Boba Fett, where it's just like Northern California or whatever. I was like, yeah, that doesn't look good. Cool. Vendor said, wait, did they change Reva from dying at the end? What? Wait, how did they change? I think they just cut it. Like I said, I was just lucky to get this information at all. That's somebody who was like, hey, I want you to make sure, you know, you've done a good job. I want to make sure you're not wrong here on this big point. And then, but to tell me that, they had to give me a little bit of context and got the season 2 information and that Reva doesn't die. And so like, essentially, like I said, all she has to do in the edit is fly out into space or get in her ship, leave Tatooine. Then we from there, we don't know what happens. And like I said, let's just pretend the world ends tomorrow. Then Reva did go back and die. We just didn't see it, but we'll see. But do you think Reva would run into Luke? Wouldn't that mess with Luke being just a bored farm boy? Would she try to kill him from afar? No, I don't think so. Reva goes to the large homestead to kill Luke, and then can't do it. She could kill, you know, she could cut off ladies on the hands on the street who talk trash to her, but she can't cut off, you know, a innocent boy's head. She sees herself in Luke, from what I understand. Because that was my source's interpretation of it. Violet says, is Padme in this show at all? Maybe a flashback or dream sequence? Best of my knowledge, no. Best of my knowledge, she was brought up during the fight. And like that's like the one thing, you know, I think it's okay to talk about probably, is that Obi-Wan was missing so much dialogue in that first fight we just got. When we get to the next fight, the Obi-Wan banter and quips are supposed to return. Trouthead says, but if she has her lightsaber out and Luke sees it, doesn't that mess up A New Hope with him seeing Anakin's and that being the first one he sees? There's never any indication that that's the first one he sees. He just goes, what's that? And then he's all, your father's lightsaber, weapon of the Jedi Knight, blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, if he's seen a laser sword or a lightsaber before, he also he also picks it up and turns it right on and knows how to use it. So it's kind of like you could make that work for yourself. He also knows what the Clone Wars are, and it would be really weird. It would be like knowing what World War II was, but not knowing what a gun was, you know, to some extent. I mean, if you want to make it work for yourself, obviously these things weren't created in order at times, and there's a little bit of like finesse to make it mean as much. But things that seem to implied things don't have to mean what we thought they meant in order to tell like a new good story. So Luke seeing that, and also like hers is like much different. And I think like it was like, you know, if you went over and you went and you pulled out a Nintendo cartridge from a box and were like presented to me, I would say, what's that? I didn't know what a Nintendo cartridge is. I've always known, but I would say, what's that? So I think we can make that work for us if we want to, but if we get hung up on it, I don't know what to tell anybody. Johnny says Kenobi season 2 is going to be dope. Just can't let Vader have anything to do with it, sadly. Plus, I'm sure Vader and the Inquisitors will be getting their own show anyways. Good vibes. I was curious about that, if they would do something like that. You know what I mean? If they would do an Inquisitor show, or is this our Inquisitor show? Like, are we literally getting it? Because when you get down to it, we're seeing all this Kenobi deep lore, but we're also seeing the Inquisitors and like how they're arranged and the competitions and stuff like that for them. So if they continue that story with Jedi being hunted, we kind of do have an Inquisitor show for what it's worth. But I also think if like the cast from Jabim might be something there too, which would also make the bad guys the Inquisitors again. Vitor says, honestly, I think from a storytelling point of view, it would sky high the tension for our next season. But from now on, Obi-Wan has to be on Tatooine. The tricky part is to find the story. Yeah, I don't know about the sticking to Tatooine stuff. Maybe they could come up with an explanation though, like based off of the stuff that we've got now. Like, for instance, maybe you could get Ned there. Maybe Ned could be there, like, you know, I'm protecting Luke. Because I mean, for the most part, like they're not protecting Luke from Inquisitors usually. Like the protection that he needs is more of a day-to-day kind of thing. Like Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers might just come down the street, for instance, and steal him, like that kind of stuff. And so, you know, there might be ways of taking care of that, you know. But also at the same time, like when we look at the implied backstory and the implied history of Luke's story, he's out fucking flying T-16 in Beggar's Canyon. Like, motherfucker could die. Like you know who you are? You can't be doing that. But he does it. So Living with Dameron says, it's me. What up, Jason? Hello, Mr. Dameron. How are you? Skylar says, I feel like the Grand Inquisitor will want his revenge and will end up killing Reva at some point later. Yeah, that's completely possible. You know, or you know, maybe that comeuppance that she has from what she's done will lead us there, you know. Maybe Obi-Wan bumps into Rey's parents along the way somehow. That could be fun. Although wait, Rey's parents, Rey's probably not born until after Return of the Jedi. So it doesn't seem possible, really. I don't know how old the parents are supposed to be though. I mean, not with Rey anyways, you know. I got the impression that Rey's parents were like someplace with the Palpatine program until Rey was born, and then they run. But that's the implied story. Doesn't mean it's the actual story, right? So, yeah. Arya says, "Please, I beg you, Disney, make Jedi Killer into a thing. I want a mass scary Sith. That's fucking insane." Living with Dameron says, Momoa is more physically imposing than I imagine a Jedi, but I'd be okay with it. Yeah. I mean, I like when like Voss, I like Voss when he's like the spy stuff, the Dark Horse comics was like really fun. But you know, so I would like somebody who can kind of be like that cool fucking James Bond spy, but can also go hang out on a paddleboard on the beach. You know what I mean? That's what I want. But you mentioned Roken would be back. Believe so. I believe Roken survives this story, and my source believed Roken was likely to be back for the future shows. Jason Momoa as Quinlan. Yeah, we already did that one, didn't I? Sorry. Baymex says we have a show with 4 Inquisitors. That hashtag show was correct after all. Only their bullshit scoop was correct by accident. Yeah, that sometimes that happens. Sometimes it happens. Jen Reva. Maybe it's season 2. Chrysanthemum could show up in Tatooine like in the comics. I like that. I like his design a lot. I have this skin in Fortnite. Chilean Airways. I always call you Chilean Airways. I'm always going to call you that. Does the scoop you have for tomorrow have to do with Quinlan? No, but yeah. It's a baby scoop. It's a very, very baby thing. That's not a big deal. Very, very small. Worth checking out. Be good discussion for some of you, I think. Darth Vader says, spoiler, the fake Jedi shows up in episode 4 because in the trailer, he shows up where Reva met the rest of the Inquisitors. Spoiler, the fake Jedi shows up in episode 4 because in the trailer, he shows up where Reva met the rest of the Inquisitors. I'm kind of confused. Sorry. Captain Rex says, any info on the Vader Kenobi rematch? Just what I already put out. I mean, the one thing I had to add to it is when the actual fight happens later on in the 6th episode or whatever. Kenobi's gonna have his mojo back, and he's gonna be talking shit again. He won't be running like a little bitch. He's gonna be like, "No, Kenobi, I'm gonna do this," and he's gonna do it. Brennan says, do you think George Lucas is pissed at the series? And if a season 2 happens, I doubt he thinks that they didn't take it too far to push up against Canon. I don't know, man. Like Brennan, George Lucas seems to like I don't think he's ever gonna really like something greatly that somebody else does. I think like he's just I think it's like when I don't know for certain, but I wouldn't be surprised if his take on George Lucas is like that of a parent who has a kid who's left the nest and is now making choices that they don't agree with, but are having success. And they have to be like, hey, you know what? It's their life now. I kind of think that's where George is coming from. So I try not to think too much about what George would, think or whatever. Sachi has been pulled from the show due to death threats. Well, no, why do you think that, Station 9? That's not it at all. She got they cut her death to continue to use her. If I'm understanding what you're talking about. Captain Rex says, already read that one. Already did it. But what does Jabim look like? Or Jabim? They're saying it Jabim. And Jajim Beam. Yeah. The details from the set that I had were always like a sinkhole planet with a rebel, like, or it's a Clone Wars era Republic base inside that's been taken over by this movement, and they have force sensitives and political refugees and stuff like that hiding out there. And so, and then in this last episode, we had what's her name, Indira Varma, say it all leads back to Jabim or something like that. So it sounds like that's like kind of like where that's like the hub of all of these networks or something. But anyways, yeah. So I would look at the comic books, just like Google, like Jabim, and then probably it's like a mixture of that, but also it's just still going to be El Segundo, probably. But what if season 2 makes Kenobi tell everyone? What would he tell them? So I have something to tell you guys. I'm not Leia's dad. I hope they bring her back, but that doesn't make Vader out of a character for not killing her anymore. Yeah, I don't feel like Vader killing her made it really any I don't think it boosted Vader. I mean, he could kill anybody. Like, so it doesn't really like make me think he's more powerful or more special, but it does protect the Seeker, and it did for a time shut down her the threat to the family, and it did just end the story arc. But Mark says, I think people saying they're underwhelmed that Vader didn't go further with Kenobi are just wrong. It means that they're portraying Vader right because of that feeling. Yeah, it'll definitely no one, I think, can judge the duels kind of stuff until they see the second one. Then if the second one is very weak and then the first one was like him running around being scared, then they're not happy. Then I guess they would have a point of view. But right now, it's like it's supposed to be a more dynamic thing. That's my take. Thank you again, Stella. Jason, do you think season 2 will focus on Qui-Gon training Obi-Wan? Yeah, that's what I was like suggesting, is that that's something that they can do. Because like we end Revenge of the Sith and we're just hoping that you know, Obi-Wan's going to figure it out. If we haven't watched part 4 yet, right? Which most of us did first. But you're just kind of hoping that he's going to end up figuring things out and being a ghost, and it was just all easy. But if they want to tell stories with Kenobi, they need to make that into something like more difficult. And like I was saying, he couldn't even when we hit episode 6, he couldn't even talk to Qui-Gon. He couldn't even hear him or see him that whole time. He just got that power. So he has like another 9 years of figuring out how to become that ghost and how to do that stuff and how to, you know, get. Okay, so CJ just says I'm missing a couple of super chats. I apologize, guys. I will slowly go up this chat interface. It's not saving them all on the top as long. But will we ever see another animated Star Wars movie? I think so. I mean, in a lot of ways, the a droid story is going to be an animated Star Wars movie. Basically, that's what it is. It's going to be like, I think, a high quality video game looking, like Jedi Fallen Order next gen looking, if not higher quality animated special. So yeah, so we totally will. And thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it a lot. Okay. And then, did I read this one? The best thing about season 2 will be Kamal's opportunity to come back and finally put the droid. Okay, so I did read that one. Did I miss any others? If I missed any others, I am so sorry. This is where I need Rob. This is why that's why I have him, because I'm not good at this stuff. Yeah. All right. I think yeah. And then I read this one, right? From Thanara. Wish they got Kamal as Quinlan, missed opportunity. So we definitely, I think we got them all now. If I am missing any more, please just let me know. I will find it. I will find you and I will cue you. Yeah. So anyways, to go back to Stella's thing though, like what season 2 could possibly, you know, focus on, like, let me know what you guys think. If you guys think that yet, like, what could it focus on? And because I'm curious. I mean, usually they're way more creative than we are, and they find an angle that is way better than what we can do. But at the same time, I think when we find that angle, the angles that we find, I think, are sort of, in a weird way, our requirements as an audience. Like this is what we're expecting, and those expectations are informed by the wants, needs, and desires of the audience. And so I still think it's interesting, even when it's super obvious or whatever. You know what I mean? It's still like, it doesn't mean they're going to do it. I don't think they'll ever be purposely, you know, super obvious. I don't think that's how they roll. But yeah, and if I did miss anybody super chats, just tell me that you did one, and I'll read it. So anyways, was James Earl Jones an AI voice? Asked DJ. To the best of my knowledge, he was not an AI voice. But it would be funny if he was, because it means that what I heard today about the Darth Vader stuff was just them telling me that they're using the AI voice again. Hey Phil, how's it going? Do you know if there will be any Star Wars video game news at the upcoming Xbox Bethesda showcase? I don't know, but I would watch Bespin Bulletin personally. Bespin Bulletin seems to have the best video game news for the Star Wars stuff. BGN super chat, Jason. So what did yeah, can because I'm not seeing it, like it's being so stupid because there was so many chats going by. It's like I read Stella's and like Stella's won't go off of the thing. So I don't know what's going on with StreamYard today. What did BGN say? Sorry, BGN, to make you do it again, but I can't find it. I mean, more Leia in season 2. She was fucking amazing. Oh yeah. No, I like little Leia. I would kind of hope that they do something with her in a sideways story or whatever. I don't know how much more with Kenobi there could be, but she could be like being involved with the kids on Jabim. And if they were to go and start doing stories with the Jabim like people, Leia through her father might be a part of that. Reva and Leia might be a part of that. I'm just throwing it out there. Like we don't really know what they were doing in all that time, you know? So we'll have to see. But I'm trying to find it was BGN? Trying to find the super chat from them. Wait, BGN. Wait, oh no, that was BGN was the Stella one, right? Yeah, which I did hit that one. If that's the one that you're talking about. Yeah. All right. Well, nobody's threatening to cut my head off yet. For the record. I used to have a couple of special people who like when I reported about Luke only having the one scene in Force Awakens was like death threats. I wasn't scared though. Love says, I think season 2 will lead to Kenobi leaving again as part of Qui-Gon's training, similar to Yoda's training from the Wills in season 6 of Clone Wars. Yeah, like something like that could, you know? Okay, so you DM'd it to me? Weird. Is all technology failing me? Okay. I just got it right now. Yeah, okay. I did do that one, Baymax. It was Stella asking Jason, do you think season 2 will focus on Qui-Gon training Obi-Wan? Yeah, we did hit that one. But thank you for helping me with that, dude. I appreciate it. But depending on how I feel, I may do another update tonight. So I think I'm gonna go and have some dinner, rest up a little bit, and I might do a little tiny article that's very small. It's a confirmation piece about something that has kind of been going around, but was massively overlooked, but that I can confirm. So when did they change the fate of Reva? Was it the last few days? I don't actually, Carl. I don't know. I think some people are going to want to take credit for it. Like, yeah, I kicked up some shit and they changed it. Honestly, it could have been today they changed it. It could have been after I found out, which was what, September, August of last August. So there's been a lot of time. So I don't know, and I don't know when they started getting the preliminary numbers to start being like season 2, yes. So will Leia find out if Padme is her mother if she doesn't know already? Yeah, I don't know. The comic books kind of dealt with it a little bit in that first Leia miniseries, so they kind of are probably stuck with that to some degree. Neil says, I hope you come back tonight. Thanks. Yeah, I'll try. I'm not promising I will, but I'm going to try to sit down and write the other article and come back. Don't know if you mentioned that, but will Obi-Wan change his clothes for the second duel? Yeah, that's been a question I've actually had after the fact. And I was like, he gets burned. So are we going to just have movie magic where he gets burned and then his clothes are all fine? When it comes to movie magic, anything can happen. Any clothes can be fire retardant. Ben, thanks for the great work, man. Everyone appreciates it. Thank you for being so nice, you guys. Yeah, when something big changes and you report it the original way, it makes me so like, you know. So I'm glad everybody in the chat has been really cool and mature. I love our community here. You guys are the best. We have something good going, and I appreciate it. And thank you for all of the support today. And Brendan says, so you're saying they could have cut the ending before they found out the earnings? It's possible. I don't know. I'm hoping I could find out, but also like it might be something where like who knows what, when, where, and why might be something where I can't even talk about it, even if I do. But yeah, it changed, but I got the change, and that's the important part, right? Is that we got it. So I am the best, Ducky. You are the best. You put the mo in Momo. I always say about you. And you're welcome, Violet. Everyone have a really good night, and eat dinner. If it's 9 o'clock where you are, get ready for bed, unless you want to stay up and watch my next show later on if I do one. But yeah, it's dinner time. Bye, guys. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Please like the video. Like, really like it. Like it. Ask it to go out with you. If it says no, take no for an answer, bud. Come on.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.